Hey friends, so we're back today with the 21st gene key of Valor, which goes from the shadow of control to the city of Valor through the gift of authority. And this one is so beautiful because at the citic end, which is the core, which is the essence, which is the spirit of you, of I, of the I am, Valor is really about being in service to the whole and keeping that sense of presence, of devotion to service, to recognizing that every ounce of action, of energy, every mote, every pixel, every plank of power is in devotion, is in service to the whole, and will dedicate itself integrally to the benefit of the whole, which is always some form of goodness, of love, of beauty, of truth, the attributes of the divine, which is you, which is I, which is the I am. Now, at this shadow frequency part of the spectrum, it's called control. Control has to do with constriction. It has to do with seeing. It's always the same story, really, about separation and therefore domination. Either feeling dominated or dominating the other. It's always some form of victim mentality, And that's not to say that there's anything intrinsically wrong with the idea of control, because it all depends on context, right? But the idea with a shadow is that the greater context is lost. And so control is basically a modus operandi. It's a kind of a continual identification with the illusion of the need to control, whether it's oneself or others. There's no possibility of relaxing, and therefore it remains a shadow, low frequency vibe. Because if you can't relax, then you're basically, whether it's you or I, perpetuating suffering. And the idea with the transmission of the gene keys is to liberate ourselves from suffering. May all beings be free of suffering. It's is one of the guiding principles, and the way to do that is to know thyself, know ourselves, know the I am. Which is the prime mandate of the divine. Know thyself and all of thy infinite potential, as R.J. Spina is a wonderful modern metaphysical teacher likes to say. So as we sink into this, as we begin to relax, even within the confines of control, because such is the nature of life, it's going to relax at some point. Hell doesn't go on forever, despite whatever the scriptures or whatever whoever might say. Everything is temporary. It's like the law of impermanence, which is good news. Hell is impermanent. So at some point, the vibration of control relaxes, and then we can start to see arise the light that we call the gift of authority. And authority is basically that which speaks with power and knowledge and perfection and effectiveness. you know. Not necessarily speaking either. Authority is the feeling that we can completely trust. We can put it that way. We can completely trust. And of course, we are born into this world of Caesar, as Neville Goddard used to say, which is the appearance of external things and therefore external authorities. And that's what we are inculcated with, indoctrinated with, encultured with from the moment of conception, you know, through the epigenetics of our mother's own vibration, and then you know, through her, the father, and the other elements of culture of our ancestors. And then after birth, the language, the culture, the education, the politics, the science, all of these bastions, so to speak, of authority, which in Newtonian terms, you know, are pretty external to us and tend to keep us, have kept a lot of us down, which is why at a certain moment in the life of a human being, there comes a time of, wait a second, let me turn inwards now and seek my own authority. Even if we may not know that that's what's actually happening, at a certain moment, we're going to turn inwards, release from the shadow of control, release our own need to control, and relax. And as we relax, we open up to what we truly are, which is the cosmos itself, the universe, the being, the omniscient being that some call God, and others nature, and others universal intelligence, or the Tao, or whatever name it's pointing with those words. The words are basically symbolic of an experience of being, which is right here and right now. And this is the invitation through the 21st gene key to step, to sink in, to relax into what you are already, which is the gift of authority, and even more deeply, the city of Valour. And it's funny because we can use control, like controlling the breath, you know, to actually relax the breath. So you see how these gradients work, you know, and how the shadow bleeds, so to speak, opens into the gift, you know, and hence the teaching, which is the modus operandi of the gene keys: allow, accept, and embrace the shadow. Don't wallow in the shadow. Don't go and dissect the shadow. Don't, you know, like focus like on the shadow with you know, with the shadow vibration, but just love yourself in the present moment. Allow yourself to be. This is my guiding principle, you know. When things come up, it's like, okay, something's come up and it feels like a contraction, or, you know, some kind of state of being which isn't relaxed, because it's either fearful, or it's angry, or it's grieving, you know, the three basic emotional qualities or nuances of the suffering, right? And then just relax with that, and come back to the now. And the I am process is basically about the sacred geometry intrinsic of our being, and just coming back into it. And as we do this, we reconnect with our own internal authority, our own inner compass, our knowing, our what we can trust in, and therefore relax completely too. Not a, you know, kind of relaxation, but a sinking, breathing all the way down to the soles of the feet, you know, and through the soles of the feet into the earth, and all the way through the top of the head to the heavens, connecting heaven and earth, and the connection with the earth is really through the heart, where the horizontal axis meets the vertical axis. So the infinite here meets the eternal now. I am here now. And then sinking even more deeply into the gut, where we concentrate our vital energy. And here you really I feel my own authority of myself, of my uniqueness, of this incarnation of the spirit here. It's not the authority of the ego. It's the authority of consciousness. And if I drill even more deeply, sink and relax, and invite you to do so even more deeply into that, then valor, yes, it's valorous. Because at every moment it's giving itself to life, to existence, to being. This, what I call I, and that I describe with languaging, but which is an experience, a felt sense, and which is way beyond words at the same time, and which is perceptible in the eyes of all the beings that we can look into and recognize as ourself. That one light. That is valorous. That is a really good way of describing it. Let's just breathe together with that and sink into it. Celebrate it. Hold it up. And surrender to it. And feel through this present moment here the embrace of that valorous consciousness, which is also incarnating here, in our being, and that we can come home to at every moment. The door is always open, the light is always on. The table is always there, there's always the chair, there's always a bed, there's always everything in readiness, in service to our being. So, thank you for hanging out, for hanging in, and until next time, bye-bye.